Hello, everybody. Yes, it's another vlog. And again, I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm trying a different resolution this time on the camera. It's going to be a little weird. So my eyes look sunken in more than they already are, which is a lot. I hope the microphone is working. I have no way to test it until I could test it by making a recording and checking it, but I'm lazy and I'm really tired. It's about 1:45 in the morning, which is normal time for me. That's normally when I end my recording sessions. I have not made a recording session today. I was planning on it, but I was kind of putting it off because the part that's coming up in Metroid Prime, if you're familiar at all with the game, it is literally the hardest part. And there was one thing I wanted to go and get before we actually started it, because it's really useful when you actually get into this hardest part of the game, but at the same time, you know, it's like it would be putting off the inevitable. It would be a couple of episodes tops to put off this go, and you may have noticed I haven't been uploading videos very often lately. I have videos recorded. I recorded like 12 episodes last week, and I've only uploaded like 2 of them. Last week's recording started with the fight against Thardus. So we haven't gotten very far into that. I haven't been uploading because my uploading schedule happens at work. I've gotten into a rhythm of doing stuff because work, I have a desktop, I have a workplace. Here I don't. My computer is sitting on a shelf, next to the television. This is my mouse, and my keyboard is sitting over here on a futon, on a ottoman right now, because that's all I have. I don't have a desk. I don't have the room for a desk. I don't have the room for a proper workplace in here. This is my desk. It's a fucking table. It's not even a dining table, but it's my desk. It's what I have. Anyway, work has been extremely rough this week. We've been trying to get this one setup going. Actually, we've been trying to get 2 setups going, and one of them is extremely important, doing a lot of very important, very useful science, and the other one is they want to, but they kind of don't have their shit together, and it's really painfully obvious. And their setup, this is one of 3 new setups that they've created for this one purpose of looking for exoplanets, and just everything. I described it to my coworker the other night. There are 50 problems with this setup, and every single one of them is engineering. Somebody designed this setup without knowing what they were doing, and so we've had to fix everything with this setup, and it's been super frustrating. And just last night, we finally, after literally days of working on it, got it aligned in one axis, and we need the other axis to go because it's a 2-dimensional system, even though it's projecting on a sphere, but it's projecting a 2-dimensional grid on a sphere, so it's 2-dimensional. Anyway, so that has taken up all of my work time, and my co-workers have been working entirely on this other setup. So we have had literally no time at all. I have certainly not had any time at all to work on uploading videos, and that's partly my own fault, because like I said, I could upload them from here, and I will upload this from here. This will go up tonight, but It's Thursday, by the way. Thursday is my night off. And I have been working my ass to the bone all day. It's been a rough week. But anyway, so that's what's going on. I have videos. I just haven't been uploading them because I haven't had the time to actually upload them. Because I have a job that pays well, and I need to be able to continue to do that job, because this does not pay at all. I think I've made like 7 cents in the year and a half that I've been doing this. So, yeah, I'm not even kidding either. I've made 7 cents. So, this doesn't pay the bills. My job pays the bills. Hi, Toulouse. So, I need to do my job. I want to continue to do this, and I will continue to do this. It's just my upload schedule might be very sporadic over the next, 2 months, because it's like once we get done with these 2 setups, there's a third that's going to be another huge undertaking, and it's going to be a massive pain in the ass, and there's going to be all kinds of time devoted to it. It's not going to be nearly as much of a pain in the ass as these 2, but it's still going to be a pain in the ass. Guys. So, that's what's going on with life. I will be uploading. It's just not going to be as often as you guys are going to want, and I understand that, and I apologize for that. Couple things that are going on. No, you need to stop. Scarmelion is playing with the microphone cable again, so he's the instigator. He starts shit, and Toulouse tries to run away from him and fails every time, because Toulouse is 6 years old and Scarmelion is 6 months old. There's just no comparison. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Stuff that's going on for this channel here. There is stuff going on. It's actually a really exciting time for this channel. I'm really jazzed for what's gonna for the coming months. So, for example, Just Cause 3 is coming out December 1st, and I will be playing it. I'll be playing it for this channel. I'll be playing it live, no practice, cold run for this channel, and I'm going to have a blast playing it, I'm sure. I've already seen Smosh games. If you watch them, I don't know. I strongly recommend watching them, because they're actually pretty good. They're a lot of fun to watch anyway. And they got a preview. They got a sneak preview from Square Enix to play Just Cause 3 in London. And they had a ball, and it looked amazing. And I do want to play it. Now, of course, on my recording my recording hardware is not capable of recording full HD at 60 frames per second. It's going to be 30, but it's still going to look spectacular. And I'm really looking forward to it. Excuse me. Other stuff that is different, not promises, but stuff that is important to the channel. Couple things going on. So this last weekend was an auction. I don't remember if I've ever mentioned it on the channel. There's gnats in the air. I don't remember if I've ever mentioned it on the channel. There's a guy down the road, Carl Wood. He's an auctioneer. Does local auctions. He hosts stuff online, but he doesn't like to do stuff online. He hates it, but it's like he needs to do it because some of the stuff that he has is top dollar, and nobody here wants to pay it because nobody here wants it. So he has to have an online aspect to his auction. But he does mostly local stuff. Anyway, this past weekend he had another auction, and one moment. I'm not going to edit that out. I got allergies, man. I have really bad allergies. But anyway, Carlwood auction this past weekend. most of the stuff there was crap. It was almost entirely garbage. Most people would say it was all garbage. There was a lot of high-dollar glassware, like antique glassware, but I don't care about antique glassware. I'm not that kind of guy. And, I mean, a lot of the regular crowd is, but not a lot of those people were there this week, so he had a hard time selling it. He knew it was worth, several $100s a piece, but he wasn't getting those prices. And there was this this older lady. She and I have kind of become friends lately. She owns a restaurant down the road, and I go there all the time. She was looking at this set of plates and china and stuff that was, serious antique, but she was like, it looks really nice. I would really like to get it. And Carl started the auction at $160 and was like, one piece of this is worth that. And I'm selling the entire box for $160. And somebody did buy it for that price. But he was like, I'm not going $1 lower than that. This box is worth, several $1,000s, several tens of thousands of dollars. It's just not worth me, auctioning it off if you're not going to pay at least a couple hundred. And so somebody did buy it, like I said, for really, really cheap. And after that lot was auctioned off, Carl asked one of the people in the audience who is an antique dealer, who she had been kind of going through this stuff during the preview day on Friday. The auction itself was on Saturday. She'd been going through it, and she said, "Yeah, I looked it up." She told Carl and the rest of the audience. She's like, "Yeah, I looked it up, and one small teacup from that set sells for at least $25. And there were like 16 of them in there. It was like, Jesus Christ. So she was like, yeah, one tiny teacup from that set is $25. I can't imagine what the rest of it is worth. And Carl was like, yeah, I know. I friggin' knew that this thing was worth a lot. But anyway, so this older lady was really bummed out that she didn't get it. But there were two items in one lot that I was really interested in because they were Texas Instruments home computers. Now, if you're not at all familiar, and most of you probably aren't, because a lot of you are probably 1990 and younger, no offense to that, it's just that's the demographic that I expect this channel is probably prone to. I myself was born in 1985, so I'm not really old enough to have known this period of time, but my father is, and my father grew up while this stuff was, would have been interesting to him, so I knew about it. But anyway, Texas Instruments, yeah, the calculator people. God damn, sorry about that. Texas Instruments used to make computers as well, and the TI 99/4 was their first computer. It was a home computer, but it had calculator buttons. It wasn't really designed to be a computer. It had a proper keyboard, but the keys were all calculator keys. And the software was done on cartridges. In fact, I happen to have one sitting right here. This is a TI cartridge. This is Extended Basic, which obviously isn't terribly interesting to most of you, because it's like, the hell, why do you want a programming language? But that's what it was. It was a home computer. It was designed to program on. And in fact, BASIC was built into the computer. That's why that's Extended Basic, because that has more commands that weren't built into the computer. So, the 99/4 was their first. And then they learned from the mistakes made with the 99/4 and came out with the 99/4A, which was the first and, for a long time, only 16-bit processor on a home computer at the time. The computer came out in 1981, so it was a huge deal that this had a 16-bit processor. No other computer, I just said that, no other computer at the time could even begin to boast, home computer rather, could begin to boast that kind of processing power. And it was a little home computer. I mean, it was like a Commodore 64, if you've ever seen one of those. It's a keyboard with computer built in. The TI-99/4 and /4A had a little shelf on them that you could put stuff. You couldn't put a monitor there, but you could put, you couldn't put drives there either. There wasn't enough room for the drives that were, that size, and two, the drives actually attached to the side of the system, so you couldn't put it on top. But you could put, it was a shelf. You could put stuff on top there, and it wasn't lost real estate or anything like that. Anyway, so this auction had both a 4 and a 4A up for bids. The 4A had never once been used. Open the box, and the damn thing was pristine. It was still in the packaging. The RF adapter, the thing that broadcasts in RF so you could plug it into your TV, hadn't been taken out of its packaging. It was literally brand new. It had never been touched. And it's just pristine. Now, a computer, that style of computer, in that condition, it's not going to net you a whole lot. At most, you could probably sell it for about $100. And that's really steep. The other one, the 4, it was used. You could tell it was used. There were dings in it, there's scratches in it, but it's still not in bad shape. And it works. But the amazing thing is, it came with the box. It came with the power adapter, and it came with its own original RF adapter, which was not actually designed for the 4. The 4 was intended to be used with a specific monitor. TI could not they couldn't manage to get a RF adapter approved by the FCC before the 4 came out. So it was a huge deal that you had to buy the monitor with it. And the whole setup sold for about $1,000 at the time, which in today's money is about $2,500, which is a lot of fucking money. Really. Nowadays, one of those in this condition, with the box, with the power adapter, without the monitor, by itself, at the lower end of the range, could sell for $150. If it was in better condition, upwards of $250. And if it had the monitor, you could expect upwards of $500 from this one computer. And for the two of them together, I paid $5. So, in the near future, expect to see some Texas Instruments TI-99/4A footage go up on this channel. Now, I was experimenting with it a little bit today, and the problem I was having, the HDMI converter that I use, it's a composite to HDMI converter, because my capture card is strictly HDMI. It does not like the video output from the TI-99. If you remember these problems from back in the 80s, VCRs had a thing called traction control, which kept the image of the film you were watching on the screen. If you didn't have traction control or vertical scroll control, the screen would start to scroll the image. Well, that's exactly what was happening with the HDMI adapter. Plugging it directly into the TV, it works perfectly fine, but the HDMI adapter does not. Which brings me to my next point. This week, excuse me, this coming week, I will be ordering, finally, the hardware to adapt both RF output and incompatible composite video output. So, for example, the TI-99 to USB. So I can start capturing video from other consoles that I haven't done so much on this channel. For example, the Atari 2600, the Nintendo Famicom, the Atari 5200. I already mentioned the TI-99. I might be able to do my PS2, my German PS2, but I might have to use this adapter for that as well. I don't know. I haven't really experimented with that. But so that will open up a large amount of possibility that I'm really looking forward to. And I hope you guys are too, because I really do want to do some older video games. And actually, the other night I got my Atari 2600 set up for the first time in a long time. Because it's been sitting there. Excuse me. It's just been sitting there for months because I haven't had the time to work on it. I had trouble getting it to work on the old computer, on the old recording computer, and then on this new one, because I didn't have an RF adapter, I couldn't work it. The 2600 only has an RF out. So there's no real way to do it other than to just plug it in to an RF receiver. I'm having a real hard time. Anyway, so I got my 2600 hooked up, plugged it into the TV, got it working. The TV recognized it immediately. It was like, oh yeah, here's video input on channel 2, you know, and I was playing Vanguard last night. One of my favorite games on that system was Vanguard. I loved that game because it was relatively easy. You have to understand, I played this system when I was like 5. You know, I needed simple games, and Missile Command was not a simple game. Vanguard was. So I loved Vanguard. But I've got a library of like 60 games for this system that I haven't even touched, because I haven't had it set up yet. So now that I have it set up, I can play those games for the channel. Same with the TI-99. There are dozens of games for that system. Like, actual games. Space Invaders. The TI Invaders game, the port for the TI-99, was one of the most successful ports of all time, and it is one of the best ports of that game of all time. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. I played it a little bit the other night when I was verifying that all this stuff worked, and it's actually surprisingly good. God, one moment. I had a lot of these same problems during my last recording session too, so you're going to be hearing a lot of that too, throughout Metroid Prime. So, that's what's going on with the channel. Gonna start doing Atari 2600 games, probably one-offs, because a lot of them, that's all they are. TI-99, same thing. I'm probably gonna get the 5200 hooked up next. Start doing stuff with that. Just Cause 3, coming out at the end of the month, beginning of next month. So that's gonna be a thing. It's going to be a fun time these next couple of months, even though I'm going to be super busy with work and with other stuff. There's a lot more than just work going on. But I'm going to do my best to make sure that this channel continues to live. And hey, if you've enjoyed my content, tell your friends. Like, seriously, I really, I thrive on attention. That's why I'm doing this. But I also, the more subscribers I get, the more reason there is to do this channel. Like I said, I really do want to do this channel. I like doing it. It's a lot of fun. It forces me to play these old games that I've fallen out of favor with. Not really fallen out of favor with, but, just I've not had the time to play them. And this channel forces me to set aside time to play these games. So I've really enjoyed it because it's, reliving a lot of these games that I used to play as a kid. And then there's all the other games that I didn't get the chance to play as a kid. Like all of the PlayStation games. I didn't own a PlayStation until I was, 22? I'm not even joking there. I didn't own a PlayStation for a long-ass time, and even then that was a PlayStation 2. And the only reason I got it was because the original owner didn't think it worked anymore. I got it working. It's still sitting over there, because it's still mine. I didn't own an Xbox until just last year, but I have an Xbox now. I did a Morrowind episode. I'd love to continue playing Morrowind, because that's another game that I haven't played. But again, today has just been devastating, and this week has been devastating, and once all this blows over, I'm going to have a lot more energy, I'm going to be a lot happier and, better off mentally and physically. Oh, that's another thing. I get to go to the cardiologist sometime this month. Let me see when that is. 12th? Yeah, it's the 12th. So next Thursday, I get to go to the get to go to the cardiologist. Oh, I forgot all about that. I didn't realize it was that early, but that's gonna be good because it'll be a checkup for my pacemaker. If my pacemaker is not doing the correct thing, somebody favorited something on Twitter. If my pacemaker's not doing the right thing, and it kind of feels like it hasn't been, it feels like I've been losing energy lately, but that might just be because I'm so exhausted from work. Anyway. So, that's what's going on this channel. Atari 2600, Atari 5200, TI 99, probably Nintendo Famicom stuff, all happening in the near future. Just Cause 3 happening at the end of the month, beginning of next month. I'll get around to playing more Metroid Prime. I'm really reluctant to play this part. I mentioned before Thardis that Thardis took me like 6 or 7 tries to kill him the first time I played the game. And even playing it this time, it was difficult. I almost didn't succeed. But the part that's coming up, there's no boss. There's a mini boss, but there's not really a boss. It's so difficult. It took me several days before I could get through it. The real problem is there aren't any save points. We're going into the Phazon Mines, and if you know the game, you're well aware of what I'm talking about. But if you don't know the game, there's a save point at the beginning of the Phazon Mines, there's one in the middle, and one at the end. And the Phazon Mines are huge. It is a 3-level area. Each level is about as large as one of the areas that we've been to lately. So, Magmore Caverns or Phendrana Drifts, each one of those is one level of this 3-level mining system. And there are 3 save points total. There's one at the beginning, at the very, very beginning of the level. There's one in the middle, which is where you have to go for the next part of the game. And then there's one at the very, very end, which we won't be going to for a long time. And that's right before the hardest boss in the game, the Omega Pirate. But we won't be going there for a little while. But the next thing we need to get, the next required item, is the power bombs. And the power bombs are located in the middle of the Phazon Mines. It's just, the worst part is there's... I don't remember the name of them. There are these space pirates that are armored against all but one of your beams, depending on what color they are. So like the purple ones, you can only hit them with a wave beam. The yellow ones, you can only hit them with a power beam, and so on. But the purple ones especially are a bitch. I mean, just difficult. The hardest friggin' enemies in the game. And you know, because, and here's the thing, going into the Phazon Mines, the item that is unnecessary that I'd like to do the detour before I go in there is the Wave Buster. Because the Wave Buster makes facing the Wave Pirates a lot easier. You just fire at them, and you know it's a stream of constant attacks, and it's like 3 seconds, and they're down. And during that time, they can't move. But at the same time, during that time, you can't move either. So when there are multiple enemies in the room, which is literally always, you can't avoid attacks while you're doing it. So it's difficult, but it also makes it easier to face those guys in particular. Otherwise, you're going to have to be firing, and it's going to take like 5 minutes per enemy. I mean, really, it takes a long time to kill them. And there are many of them per room. And there's like 20 rooms between the 2 save points that you have to be able to get through without dying. And there's literally no health pickups at all. It's just, it is so fucking hard. But at the same time, it's doable. I have done it. And I do want to do it for this playthrough. It's just hard. And I'm not looking forward to it. I'm almost looking more forward to playing Star Fox Adventures again than I am playing that part of Metroid Prime. Because it really is that hard. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Regarding Star Fox Adventures, I guess I could get back to playing it. I haven't been playing it lately. I don't have the energy to play that game right now. I know that was the thing that a lot of people started watching my channel for. But I can't. It is so... It's not difficult, it's just frustrating. You know, the problem is not the difficulty of the game, it's the difficulty of the controls. You literally have to fight the console to get the game to work, and it's not worth it to me to play the game right now. Even though, again, that game was the shining attraction of my channel, I can't, and I'm sorry. I might play another Star Fox game at another date. But recently got Star Fox 64. It's the Japanese Star Fox 64, but it's still Star Fox 64. So I might play that. I can't play Assault because Assault is at my parents' place back in Cincinnati, which is hell and gone from Cartagena. I don't have the time or the resources to go back there right now. Certainly not to just pick up a game. Although that's not the only reason I would visit my family. They are my family after all. But, I'd have to have a third ulterior motive before I start just going off to Cincinnati, because I don't have the time and I don't have the money to just do that. Let's see here, what else? Is there anything else? There may not be anything else. It's like, regarding Star Fox games, I still can't find my original Star Fox cartridge for the Super Nintendo. I had it. I don't know where it is. I'm going to have to talk to my friend in Socorro. He may still have it. I thought I picked it up, but I may not have. It's not important. I can get it for like $15 on eBay, but at the same time, it would be nice to get my copy back. But other than that, there weren't any other Metroid Star Fox games on consoles. There certainly weren't any on the Game Boy either. And I don't have a way to play DS games on Capture yet. I could, but I don't have the means to do it right now. And at the same time, it seems like it's a big pain in the ass, just based on the trouble that the Game Grumps had with it. And even now, they're doing the Link Between Worlds playthrough, and the capture's really not that great quality. I know the graphics of the game are not that great quality either, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't have the means to play 3DS games or DS games for the channel yet. So there's not going to be a way to do that. So I don't have any other Star Fox games I can play right now. Sorry. Hey, let me know what other games you would like to see me play. Because seriously, I really do want to play other games. I just, lately I've been stuck in this rut with Metroid Prime, and it's like, it's really quick and easy to just throw it on and go. But, excuse me, I would love to go back to doing what I was doing before with 2 videos a day. Going back to playing, for example, Metroid Prime and a Super Nintendo game, or even a Nintendo game, a NES game, something. I don't know what to play, because right now I'm kind of out of ideas. I had some thoughts. I was going to make October into Metroid month, and I may still do that. Like, I was thinking about doing Metroid Prime alongside Metroid 2, The Return of Samus. Actually, it's just Metroid 2, Return of Samus, I think. But, anyway, I was going to play that on the Super Game Boy, because I have that now. But I never did, because I just never did. I don't know that game well enough to really just sit down and play it. I never owned it until I was in college. Anyway, I'm rambling. We're already at 40 minutes for this thing. I wanted to end it like 20 minutes ago. So, there's not a whole lot going on. There is stuff going on in the background, which is why there hasn't been a whole lot of stuff going on in the foreground, kind of. But that's what's going on. That's what's happening. That's all the news from Lake Wobegon. Good morning, Vietnam. Whatever you want to call it. That's it. And let me know what you want to see. Talk to me. Tell me. And the worst I'm going to do is say no. And more often than not, I'm going to say sure, or that would be worth a try, or, you know what, I don't have that game, but I could get it, something like that. Let me know. Tell me what you want to see me do, and I'll do it. Or we'll talk about it, whatever. It doesn't hurt to ask. And I want you to ask. I want to talk to you people, Anyway. Until next time, the kitten is sleeping right there. Until next time, I guess I will see you guys later. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you so much for watching my channel.